So you like vanilla, but you don't want to smell like food? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Listen, social media has been ablaze with vanilla fragrances, and not only vanilla fragrances, but perfumes that literally smell like food. And that's not everybody's thing. Hey, I am a big gourmand girly. I don't mind that kind of stuff. In fact, every once in a while, I love to smell like a snack. But there are a lot of you out there that appreciate a little bit of vanilla, but don't want to go too far. Don't worry, I have you covered. I think I have around 15 to 20 vanilla fragrances that feature the note of vanilla, or vanilla is featured prominently, but these perfumes in no way smell foodie. I'm really excited. I got a bunch of good ones here. I've got some classics, I have some designers, I have some lower end, I have some higher end, and some cleanly formulated fragrances, and a few that nobody talks about, and they're absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to dive right in with a classic. This fragrance has been around for decades, some iteration of it. And Shalimar is a beautiful, timeless fragrance. Listen, there's a flanker for everyone. One of my favorite flankers is this one here that has been sadly discontinued, and it's very confusing. It's Shalimar Cologne Eau de Toilette. And I think any Shalimar variation or flanker is perfect for this video, because nobody knows how to do a vanilla like Guerlain, and they're not overly foodie, but they're just magical and masterful. So this Shalimar, the reason why I love it, it is the most citrusy of the Shalimar flankers. Those citruses are really kind of amped up, and the citruses are light and fluffy, and that leather animalic note is really, really toned down. I gotta take a sniff. It is so incredibly beautiful, timeless, and like I say, if you have any of the flankers, the one flanker I missed out on that I really, really want is the iris flanker, but that's like going on the secondhand sites for something ridiculous. I'll wait till the price comes down and I'll pick it up, even though that one is, in my opinion, the sweetest Shalimar. But the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, all of those iterations are absolutely beautiful and represent a timeless vanilla where you're not going to go around smelling like a cupcake. One of my favorite releases from last year, and it released at the very end of the year, otherwise it would have made my best releases of 2024, is by a house I talk about all the time, Day 3. I have every single one of their fragrances. I just got their brand new fragrance, and their vanilla that they released at the very end of 2024, I want to say it was December 2024, is absolutely stunning. There is no doubt that this is a vanilla perfume, but it does not smell foodie. I've heard a lot of people compare it to Baby Cat. I can see where that comparison is. It is a beautiful vanilla. It's not as spicy. It's not as peppery. And I don't think this has any incense at all. But what this does have is a soft rose. So imagine, kind of that Baby Cat vanilla, minus all the spices, minus the incense, minus the pepper, and add a beautiful velvety rose in the background. This thing is gorgeous, smooth as silk, and one of the most refined vanilla fragrances in my collection. The next one I grabbed is a fragrance I hear nobody talk about. I discovered this was one of my discoveries from a Navitus Discovery set. This is a hidden gem, and I cannot believe that more people don't talk about it. It is called Sartorial Nuit. Now, vanilla is not typically a note one associates with a spa, but if there was a vanilla fragrance that had a spa-like vibe, it would definitely be Sartorial Nuit, because it's an aromatic vanilla. I want to say it has sage and lavender. The lavender is in here, but it's not screechy, it's not soapy, and it's not to the point where it goes way into the masculine zone. I think this is very, very unisex. It has a beautiful, very soft underlying orange blossom, like this orange blossom tonka. So it's like an almondy, it's a smooth, creamy, almondy orange blossom tonka with those, I just want to keep smelling it, with those beautiful aromatic notes. It's absolutely beautiful. A gorgeous vanilla that you will not smell like food. Okay, let's go with a beautiful patchouli vanilla that I love. It's from one of my favorite cleanly formulated brands, Henry Rose, and this is Dark as Night. This is one of Picky Pat's favorite fragrances, or one that he always compliments me on, and I think it's because the vanilla in here is, again, non-foodie, and it has patchouli. He really likes it when I wear patchouli. And this is a very sexy, very simple, you know, patchouli, non-foodie vanilla fragrance that opens with a little bit of greenness. Almost all of Henry Rose fragrances open with some sort of greenness, whether it's like ivy or grass, sometimes vetiver. But make no mistake, this is a simple patchouli vanilla fragrance that is beautiful, smooth, date night, and in my opinion, quite alluring. Let's go with one that you can get at a fairly decent price. This was a big surprise love for me. This is an affordable designer. I always like to have those in my videos, and this is called Utopia. I talk about this all the time. Utopia is a beautiful floral vanilla where the vanilla is very soft. It features the note of jasmine, but don't be afraid of the jasmine note in here. It's very, very light. It's very fluffy. It's almost angelic, very, very soft. Woods in the background, I would say sandalwood, and a slight hint of like pink pepper. This one is gonna put you in the ballpark of like Burberry Goddess, but take out the lavender. So take out that lavender and Burberry Goddess. The vanilla is the same, and add a little bit of a floral undertone. And you know, that's what's gonna get you to Utopia. So beautiful. This is signature scent worthy. Absolutely stunning. What am I going to pull next? Let's go with, I've got three or four Guerlains, and this one is a masterpiece in my opinion. It's not my favorite Guerlain, but I think it's an utter vanilla masterpiece. This is Spiritueuse Double Vanille. Many people's benchmark vanilla, many people's favorite vanilla of all time, and I can see why. It's really a beautiful, it's a very true to form vanilla, like a vanilla pod that has been soaking in booze. I don't think there's any boozy notes in here. I haven't checked the notes in forever. But what I get is a very, very natural vanilla, like a vanilla pod, soaking in a little bit of alcohol. And it's got this beautiful incense, not to the degree of like a baby cat, where the incense is pretty prominent and the spices are really prominent. This has a little bit of pink pepper as well, but you can definitely detect it. It's in the background and it doesn't overshadow the beautiful natural vanilla in this gorgeous fragrance. I need to wear it more. Why don't we go ahead and talk about the other one, sister fragrance, one of my favorite Guerlain fragrances. This is quiet luxury. This is class and elegance in a bottle. Cuir Beluga. I wish these fragrances, they're just so stunning. I wish they were a little bit more affordable. The price has just gotten so astronomical, but they are true treats. I treat myself to one of these, maybe one or two a year, and I really find them so incredibly special. Cuir Beluga was one of the first ones I ever purchased in this new line or in the new packaging. It just, in many ways, is so me in a bottle. You know, it has a beautiful Guerlain vanilla that borders on being foodie, but it doesn't get there. It's just sweet and creamy. This is powdery. It has the most lovely suede. I want to say it's white suede, probably heliotrope. A little bit of aldehydes in the front, in the top, but it's not overly aldehydic. It's not soapy at all. And it doesn't get to the point where it smells like a Chanel aldehyde, not at all. It just gives the opening a little bit of brightness. It lifts it up a bit. I do get the slightest hint of an almond note in here. It's almondy and powdery, and I'm almost certain that's heliotrope. I love it when heliotrope has a really, you know, soft, powdery, almondy nuance. This is not a screamer. So if you're looking for something that is really, really loud, this is not it. This is quiet, this is beautiful, this is elegant, and quite classic. I'm going to talk about a fragrance that I got even before I started my channel. And it's exciting to see it pop up on a few other content creators because I think this is absolutely stunning. It is another vanilla that is very classic, it's very timeless, it's very signature scent worthy, because there's just something about it that's beautiful. This is Architects Club by Arquise. Now, if you have Eau d'Oeil by Diptyque, you know what this smells like. I used to have both. I had the Eau de Toilette, and they smell very, very similar. I literally did a 3-day in a row, I was gonna say taste test, sniff test, where I wore them all day long, 3 days in a row, just to decide, you know, the nuances, the differences between them. And in the end, just me personally, I ended up going with Architects Club, or it was my favorite. It's more of a woody vanilla. This is a little bit more woody. It's a little bit more aromatic. The vanilla in here is ever so slightly sweeter. And this one has a juniper note that you can really get. So if you love a woody juniper vanilla, this is so hard to beat. It has like a touch of citruses in the background. Very subtle. It's like, I want to say it's like orange rind and a skosh of an angelica note. So it's just a little bit green, but two types of wood, a beautiful vanilla, juniper. It's like the vanilla version of a martini. Absolutely beautiful. It is very light wearing. That's why I love to wear this at gatherings like cocktail parties or parties where I'm going to be pretty close to somebody. I want to have a scent, but I don't want to overpower them. And another one that's really good for work. Again, signature scent, worthy for sure. Oh, speaking of one of my very favorite vanillas of all time, the vanilla note in here is not listed. I've talked about it on and on and on. So you know it's from Search Off. You know I'm gonna show it. Ivory Route. They do not list vanilla in here as a note, but when people smell this on me, particularly in the dry down, they say, "You smell so good. I'm getting vanilla." Sometimes I'll hear from some of my friends they smell a sweet vanilla. I don't get a sweet vanilla, but I definitely get, I call it a sneaky vanilla. But in the opening, it's very spicy. If you don't like spices, if you don't like incense, the opening might be a little bit hard for you. I absolutely love it. It has something a little bit camphorous about it in the opening. Maybe it's basil. I have no idea. But you get a little bit of that in the opening, a little bit of that camphorous note, spices, incense, gorgeous, and woods. And as this dries down, it just becomes a beautiful, slightly sweet, non-foodie, woody vanilla that is stunning. One of my most complimented fragrances. This is an absolute lifer for me. This is me in a bottle, particularly when the weather's cold. You can wear it year round. I've worn it when it's warm, but it just doesn't seem to go like it really goes as the weather is getting cold. Which one am I going to show next? I'm going to go with another one I got before I even started my channel, and I've been neglecting it, but this is Divine Vanille by Essential Perfumes. I love this line. This line is a niche brand. Their fragrances are created by world famous noses, and they are very very affordable. This one in particular, this bottle, I think when I bought it, it was like $70, $75. It might be up to $80 now, but the perfumer is Olivier Peuchot, same perfumer who created Herod, and the two smell very, very similar. So if you have one, you certainly don't need the other. I used to have Herod. They're just too similar to keep both, and I just felt nostalgic about Divine Vanille because I had it a little bit longer. So it's like a spicy, tobacco-y vanilla. It has a little bit of that, you know, apple pie vibe going on, which is typically when you combine ambers and resins and benzoin with tobacco, you come up with a scent profile that smells like a dark fruit pie or something along those lines, and has a little bit of patchouli in the background. Another one, like Herod, it wears quietly, but it's absolutely beautiful. Speaking of signature scent worthy vanillas, is one I have talked about so many times. I would say this is a simple masterpiece, and this is Ruby Rouge. I absolutely love it. I think only 3 notes are listed, but one of the main notes that I get is a note that's not listed. I would call this a woody vanilla. I would call this a spicy woody vanilla. The vanilla in here is beautiful. It's almost similar to the vanilla that's in Beau by Lise. If you've smelled that vanilla, to me it's very similar. This one has cardamom. It's spicy, but it's not overly spicy. It has a little bit of iris, like a little soft, powdery iris in the background. And make no mistake, I get a ton of woods. So again, I would guess sandalwood or cedar, maybe both. Maybe they're not listing them, but they're in there, and I get them. So you must like a very classic smelling, light, simple, almost linear woody vanilla that's not overly sweet. It wears very, very quietly, but when I spray it on my clothes, it literally lasts like 10 to 12 hours all day. Let's go with one that I typically like to wear in the colder months, even though, wow, we really had a shift in the weather. I have no idea what the temperature is like outside. I haven't been outside, I've been inside all day, but the sun is out and I think it's very warm. Let's go with a vanilla that I typically like to wear in the colder months. So for you, those of you in the Southern Hemisphere moving into the fall, or those of you who live somewhere where it's still pretty cold, we're getting into that pre-spring weather where there are days that are cold, the mornings are cold, but some of these afternoons have really kind of warmed up. But nevertheless, this beautiful one by Goldfield and Banks, Silky Woods, is a very beautiful, it was one of my first Oudy fragrances, or a fragrance that had a pretty noticeable oud that I love, because it's a very simple, it's an easy oud. It's not a skanky oud. It does not smell like a barn or anything animalic. What I get is, it's a sweet wood, there's cinnamon, it's spicy. I would say there's a little bit of tobacco, woods, suede. It kind of smells like a powdered donut that you dropped at the bottom of a very light suede purse. Oh, and then you have maybe a little bit of dried fruits at the bottom of the purse, along with a donut that sounds like a mess, doesn't it? But that's kind of what I get. Powdered donut inside a very soft suede brown bag that has a little bit of dried fruits in it. I don't even know if dried fruits are in here, but I get that hookah, that kind of a hookah vibe. Let's see, what should we go with? Let's go with a beautiful designer masterpiece, in my opinion. One of my favorite designer fragrances, another Guerlain. Mon Guerlain, absolutely beautiful. This is the Eau de Parfum Intense, which is my favorite. This fragrance is, a lavender vanilla with patchouli, with lots of patchouli. The Eau de Parfum Intense has more vanilla. The Eau de Toilette has more lavender. This one lasts a little bit longer. I think they both have a teensy bit of licorice, and a very noticeable, pleasant designer patchouli. So I think it's a very palatable patchouli. It's the type of patchouli that is very crowd pleasing. And even if you hate patchouli, you might not hate it in here. But another one of my most complimented fragrances, I think it's really, really classy. This is just like, you were a classy babe. Okay, another designer fragrance, but this one is from a very expensive designer line, one of my favorite, unfortunately, designer lines out there, Dries Van Noten. Gosh, I wish they were a lot more affordable. Their bottles are absolutely stunning. This is Chamomile Satin. This is another aromatic vanilla. The vanilla in here smells I've said it before, it smells very Guerlain-esque. It is sweet and creamy and almost gourmand. It heads into that gourmand zone. The unique thing about this vanilla is that it has chamomile and it has lavender. And this is so comforting and soothing. To me, the opening I think is the hardest part of the fragrance, particularly for other people. I don't mind it at all. It smells a little bit medicinal, but medicinal in the best way. It smells like a lavender chamomile tea that's very condensed, and you added honey. So honey, lavender, chamomile tea that's been steeping for a while, and then you added a beautiful creamy vanilla to the mix. Again, sweet, but is not a full-on gourmand. I don't know. I like to wear this on the weekends when I'm not working at night. There's something about it that's so soothing and so comforting, and darn it, I wish I had every one in the line. I wish they weren't so expensive, but it is what it is. Another one, I think this is the most unique vanilla in my collection and the least gourmand of them all. And very, very unisex, very interesting. I don't have anything else like this. This is by Ormanger, and this is Vanille d'Afrique. And this is very much an earthy, vetiver, spicy vanilla. And I'm blanking on, this smells very similar to Vanille d'Iris by the same line. I meant to buy that. I had a sample. I really enjoyed it and I meant to buy it. And by the time I got around to, actually hitting purchase on my cart, it had become discontinued. I think this is a reimagination, or it might be very, very similar formula, or it might be a similar formula, I'm forgetting. But to my memory, they smell ridiculously similar. And if you have one, you do not need the other. I'm really, really glad I have this. But what I get a lot of vetiver. It's very balmy. It has a lot of sunshine in here. It's very earthy. The spices. Ormond Jane loves to add coriander in her fragrances, and this one has coriander in it. I get a lot of woods in here. I don't know the type of wood. I would guess sandalwood. So a very dry, spicy, balmy, sunny, warm, earthy, unisex vanilla that is quite lovely, and I would say is pretty much a year-round fragrance, but there's something about it. It has this ridiculous warmth that almost has sunshine. Look, the sun is coming in my window. Isn't that funny? This is very much a vanilla that radiates kind of sunshine and the earth. It's beautiful. And the last one I'm going to go with is one of the first ones I thought of when I thought of doing this video, and I think this is 15 or 16, is the beautiful Dama Bianca. This is a fluffy purple flower, kumquat, elegant, fruity vanilla that isn't overly sweet, but it definitely has a sweetness. And if you really enjoy purple flowers, like a floral vanilla, a floral fruity vanilla, this one is pretty hard to beat. I want to say it has lilac, it probably has a little bit of iris. It just has this powdery, fluffy purple vibe to it. And the fruit in here, the fruit citrus is kumquat, and I definitely get like this bright, orangey, citrusy thing going on the background of a really sweet vanilla that's tempered by the florals, that's tempered by that citrus, and it's tempered by a malt note. And I know a lot of people don't like that note because when you wear fragrances that have malt, you smell like beer. I don't get that here. It just gives it a nice, I don't know, a little bit of an earthiness, an earthy tone. And the notes are very, very unique, but they combine to make an elegant, an utterly, I should wear this today, elegant, timeless fragrance. And I know a lot of people, that is their absolute favorite vanilla of all time. And that was it, 15 or 16 vanilla fragrances that feature the note of vanilla, that are beautiful, that will not make you smell like a cupcake or a cake or anything on the dessert tray. If I did not mention your favorite non-foodie, non-gourmand vanilla, let us all know down in the comments below. Thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. If you did, I would love a thumbs up. And with that, I will see you on the next one.